that this mockery of a government is disrespecting their rights as citizens. But they're outside of the country, and to engage lawyers, you better have access to funds in the country, somebody to run and pay the lawyers. Because if you stand up outside Sinclair Medical Center or West Shore, one of these hospitals, having a heart attack, and you don't have a credit card, somebody's going to have to rush there with money while you're having your heart attack, because they're not going to, well, especially Sinclair. So you're living in a country where dog better than you if you have no money. And if you have no money to pay lawyers, you have no money, no lawyer acting for you, you're stuck outside. And the most that you could do is call Phillip or somebody else, maybe Ian Allen, but Ian Allen in his own shit right now, so everybody calling Phillip. But you see, pointing on blast shouldn't be the last resort in the country. It shouldn't be the last resort. Please help your students. Listen, they have nobody in this country besides the 1% contract mafia close-knit around this PNM government that don't need help. Everybody needs help. We have 20,000 businesses closed down. I don't do Bacchanal video anymore. People want Bacchanal, and I'm leaving them to Bacchanal because Bacchanal videos now is like the friends that take that little boy in St. Anthony's pool and drown him. Because he drowned and they went home. That's what Bacchanal video is now. When you're looking for nonsense talk, blow up, big up, you have follow them. You go down the road, like up, share, give them props. But when you reach to the end of the video, you realize that you just followed somebody for an opinion, as entertaining as it was. But now that you've reached the end of the opinion, they have nothing to offer you. They don't have a life vest, a life raft. They don't have a plan, a clue. They have no idea what next to do. So they're blowing up things and you going down the road with them and, hey, you know what? Bacchanal forever. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling Trinidadians. If you notice how different my style is right now, I drown you in information, you know. I give in Trinidad and Tobago so much information, bringing so many brilliant critical thinkers, people with knowledge and ability. I bring in so many of them to you to tell you how it can be done, what should be done, and how to fix it. And I watch a old guy playing when there was a Cold War. When there was a Cold War, you know, we end up with Cuba. I'll tell you how Cuba end up being a lesson to the rest of the world. Countries was playing America and Russia against each other. And kind of like what Venezuela tried to do with China and America, and put itself in worse trouble. When you come to Venezuela and America and Trinidad and that threesome, but people were playing Russia and America against each other. And Cuba overplayed their hand. Cuba overplayed their hand. America chased Russia out of the Western Hemisphere and punished Cuba for 50 years. Left Cuba as the land that time forgot. You see, borders closed. You couldn't get breeze out of Cuba. Cuba became the land that time forgot. Everything. Cuba is still a living museum. Time stopped 50 years ago. And they now open it back. But Cuba was punished for the entirety of the Cold War and after to send a message that sometimes playing Jack against Jill and Jill against Jack will work against you. To the gentleman who put out the video today that said if Tanti Cams was in office, the check in your office already, Mr. Gentleman, your memory short like the pants you was wearing. Because Tanti Cams only finds herself back into reality when Jack Warner had to leave the party. That's a story for another time. But it was a whole year and a half Tanti Cams was just traveling the world, partying with Julia Roberts, dancing on the backs of trucks. You remember these things? Or you'll forget. You'll forget. Spin is a hell of a thing. They have guys behind these parties whose job it is just to create an illusion for you. So that you will buy the illusion and think, if Jack can help him, Jill would. But that's not how it works. And that's not how it worked right up until 2015. And if you think I lie, go more over Bitam Lavantel and see lots. Go. You see, there are things, and I tried to explain to somebody today, Trinidad doesn't just have one problem. Trinidad has many problems. And that is essentially why I am probably unelectable. I am the person, single-handedly and with the help of a progressive empowerment Orange Army, brought the corrupt media into the bright light of day. Now nobody in Trinidad and Tobago does not know that the media is corrupt, broken, beholden to whoever pulling strings, owned by the 1%, and is literally a propaganda machine of the government of the day. Because 75% of all media income is government advertising, without which all of them gone. The contract mafia, people like Amalgamated Security and that $80 million a year, that would go on until 2090, until 30, until Abu Charan make billions. But for me, I am the one who brought the information about global medical response, Trinidad and Tobago, the ambulance service, and the connection to the Aboud family. I am the one who brought all of this into the public space, because the average person who knows this too coward to talk. The average person, I tell you, if I could share my whole inbox with you, boss, light them up, boss, blow them up, boss, set them on fire, boss, but don't call my name. Don't call my name at all. You know how it is, right? You have my full support, but we behind the scenes. I tell them already, I call a meeting in the party. I said, let me change the name of the party to behind the scenes. We win. Everybody behind the scenes. Everybody behind the scenes. There's only one political party that has exposed WASA. There's only one political party that exposed... Stick a pen. The contract mafia in Trinidad and Tobago enjoys half the budget. National Insurance Board, $41 million paid to a little restaurant like Tamnak Thai and Apsara, pay back when you want. $20 billion handed to Lawrence Dupre's creditors so that Lawrence Dupre and friends could go to Monaco and watch the F1 racing on your dime. And the $20 billion further dollars that we should have enjoyed as interest on that money, we're not getting that. That's all right. Because we're buying spin. We're talking nonsense. We're talking nonsense. And we believe that firing Manning to hire Pandey, to fire Pandey and hire Manning, and fire Manning and hire Kamla, and fire Kamla and hire Rowley, and fire Rowley to bring back Kamla, and the same names that made money in this country, illegal, unethical, corrupt, white-collar money under the PNM, is going to make money under the UNC perpetually, because those two parties are divided perfectly by race. Massa knew what Massa was doing. As long as you have blacks and Indians fighting each other, they will never look up. And they will never look up to realize that Lavantil Hill was populated before Goodwood Park Hill. But one house on Goodwood Park Hill could sell now and buy the whole of Laventille Hill. They will never look up. Indian people will never notice what was done to Caroni Limited, what is being done to Caroni Lands, what was done to the money sent here from Europe, from the European Union to shut down the sugar industry. None of it. They're not paying attention, and anybody raise their head, raise their mouth, get payoff. If you get payoff, you get silence. If you're not getting payoff, if you're not getting silence, you're getting murdered. And if you're not getting payoff, silence, or murder, they damage your name. Don't bring she on your show, Phillip. Don't bring he on your show. Anytime you see I book a guest on a show, and somebody message me and tell me don't bring them on that show, I'm bringing them on 2 more shows. You know why? I know what it feels like to get blocked. And if you think, and I always say, if you think that the person I bring in on my show is somebody that you want to question the integrity or the morality, don't do it hush-hush. Come on the show too. Let me talk it out. I'm good at that. I could arbitrate and I could referee. I'm good at all them things. Good at it. But we continue to play a game of PNM UNC. Last night, I had 2 guests on a show to have what was probably the most incredible political discussion that we've ever had in the party and in the country. Because we spoke about why 50% of the people just don't vote. And why Keith Rowley won the majority of a minority and is an absolute minority government, that it doesn't matter. Because the laws were written to protect the government even if they got into office stealing it. I asked Eric Williams. Even if they got into government stealing it, the laws are written to protect them. And the only people to change those laws is the actual parliament that you're voting into office himself to himself. The PNM will never ever write recall as law. Because you'll fire the PNM. Neither will the UNC. Because you'll fire them. Because they make promises to you going in that they don't keep. The only promises that the PNM and the UNC keep are to their financiers. The man who is responsible for this country losing billions of dollars as live sport. Now, I'm not telling you that Anil Roberts took live sport money and put it in his own pockets. And I'm not telling you that Anil Roberts gave live sport contracts to people who was giving Anil Roberts kickbacks so Anil could buy a hotel in St. Lucia. I'm not telling you those things. I'm not telling you that Anil Roberts was responsible for the contract that was signed with Adolphus Daniel and eBeam Limited that cost this country 2 check payments of $17 million each, $34 million written to a man who gave us nothing. Not one thing. If he had slap we'd have a slap to show for the man get $34 million for nothing. And that same Anil Roberts is now a spokesperson for the UNC with Brian Stone. Brian Stone and Anil Roberts. And Anil Roberts is funded by the UNC on Power 102 to talk for the UNC. Now, Anil Roberts should never be allowed near anything like a parliament again. Watching Brent and Renata Teixeira, little daughter, Anil wife, skin up on a bed for a fella named Lurbs to be eaten shelled. And that was when he was a member of parliament. It's too disgusting to say. And that I have to say it reminds you that that's what Anil Roberts brought to government. And that is what Kamla Prasad Bisesa think it's okay in her rent a big mouth black man game. Because that's what Anil Roberts is. A big mouth black man. As long as you could get a black man or a man that could say, I's a dogler, watch my lips and my nose, watch my ears, watch my bansi. That's what Anil brings to the table. And as long as Kamla could unleash that, then she would think that people in Mova beat them Laventille and see lots of stuff and say, well, it's true. He black like we. If he feeling it, we feeling it too. Room 201 was Anil and some girls, and I'm not saying that what they was doing is how you create a marijuana cigarette. The UNC people tell me I'm mad, that is Venezuelan style of smoking, and the PNM people will say definitely it was marijuana because that's how it works. But if Anil if Anil changed sides, and if Anil showed up in a Balize shirt tomorrow, the PNM people say, boy, all you know we was joking. That is not how you just pack weed, and the UNC will say, we have additional footage. It was really weed. Because that's the games they play. And 58 years of games later, 58 years. And Brent and Renata Teixeira, who I know from the Congress of the People, who have absolutely no reason to be bad talking me on Facebook, other than the fact that you know, I don't even know why. But this is the game that's played, because if you can't control something and try to be able to mash it up. And so far, the Progressive Empowerment Party has no owners. It has no handlers. Nobody could claim it, direct it, and say, we calling the shots day. So it panicking certain people who eat food by other people. The PNM know who catching money to pay the bills, you know. The PNM know who not making their mortgage. The PNM know who they drive out of business with a little boat yard and a little boat business. So now your wife lost your job and you can't fix nobody boat, or nobody hiring you. And the two little contract that you had, the people who own the contract tell you, listen, I get work from the government tell me don't do no business with you. So you're suffering. And they leave you. And the bank calling, and they know. Because the same bank manager that calling you, clinking glass with them in party. So they know, yeah boy, he get the fourth call, they panicking. And then they send an operative, listen now, you was in the COP. Look how they leave you high and dry. Where Kamala and Ram Logan today? I can get you hook up in the party, you know. You don't do nothing. Just endorse them. We will help you. And then all of a sudden, people who was in with you, gone against. And it's right, you know. Because I said from the start, my back broad, my skin tough. I knew what I was getting into when I came into this. And that's why I am here as Phillip Edward Alexander. Not Starboy Musty or Soca Child Misty Tongues and all that bullshit. I hear with my real name. So when Trini Saga Boy come to disrupt my conversation, blocking is so fast that the length of time it took for Trini Saga Boy to create that profile gone. I remember when the son of a PNM lawyer tell me, one morning when we was on Hema Ramkisoon's show, he said, you know, it was me was giving Hema the questions to ask. Yeah. And anybody who's ever been on a show with Hema Ramkisoon would tell you, while the camera on you, she on the phone, getting the questions to ask the guests. Nothing in this country could be taken on face value. The country is broken, the parliament set up to fail, the electoral system set up to fail, the courts do not have laws to enforce to keep the government in line. They don't. So the same lawyers that getting PNM contracts to say Faris right, don't mind saying Gary wrong. Same end result. Because the PNM now frailing the monster they create. I told Rowley that the day he appointed him. I say, you damage that man's name and you will rue the day. You ain't buy him. You may be borrowing him. And to all the little empty vessels all over Facebook, because they only have one politician as defender, and it's Gary Griffith. And all you could vex till all your belly bust. Don't care, cry blood. I know the man. And I could tell you, when Annan couldn't find his jockey shorts, when the government declared the health emergency and they didn't know what their rights was to do, Gary stood up to Faris and Stewart until Rowley had to come to play him out in it. And Gary said even Rowley doesn't know what he's talking about. Gary lock up Stuart Young's daughter on a mountain of drugs. If she get Lego, don't blame Gary. Gary lock up Marlene McDonald for corruption after the UNC and Alan Karim and the rest of the kick out the PNM share that Calabar Foundation, Karoo, where Marlene, where Karoo, where Calabar, and they do that for 5 years. I watch UNC do that. I watch kick out the PNM. Go and research him. Go and research kick out the PNM. Calabar. Karoo. Where Marlene get his money? Marlene gives Shiman money. 5 years. Kamala was Prime Minister. Annan was Attorney General. How come they didn't do nothing? The same Gary all they giving stick to, Gary lock up Marlene. All the talk done. All the talk done. There is a reason I tell you that the PNM is the problem and the UNC is not the solution. It's because both of those parties lack integrity. Keith Rowley is as much blackface for black voters as Kamala is Indian face for Indian voters. Don't get tired with bullshit. Stop trying to play A against B because the only person getting played is you. 4.5 years of all those governments, you got nothing. You got nothing. Gary Griffith stood up to Stuart Young's 9 release until Stuart Young, hush. You call press conference after press conference, and every time you said that the police was going to stop you for doing this and doing that, Gary said you lie. So to those of you who out there talking like, Annan stop a police state, that's bullshit. One, Annan stopped nothing. Because under Annan and under Kamala, March 2015, there was a complete shutdown of the state by the police under a different commissioner of police. Where was Annan then? Where? Where was Annan and Ramdeen and Kamala? Where? How come they never spoke about the day of total policing that shut the country down on their watch? How come? Not a word. Not a word. So you might be thinking now that, boy, my memory fade. 5 years is a lot of time. 5 years is enough time for you to forget Room 201 and for you to forget E-Beam and for you to forget the billions lost to life sport and for you to forget the SIS waste treatment plant they tried to build hiding in the beton that never went nowhere, for you to forget the $50 million bypass in Diego Martin that cost $250 million. You could forget. I can't. And forget all of that. I have asked at least one ex-prime minister and every single member of parliament, former minister, anybody who's come on my show, Trinidad is a narcotics paradise. How come we never had a follow-up to the Scott drug report? How come we've never closed the borders? How come? How come we never closed the borders? How come? Billions of dollars worth of drugs have been intercepted in this country going to foreign jurisdictions. How come nothing has ever been put in place? How come not one person has ever been brought to justice? How come? Stuart Young's daughter, a small fry. She's a trafficker. Today I pull over in Diego Martin and there are police, something going on. I pull over to drop my employee home because he called me from a site to say, boss, they have no cars on the road. And I pick him up and I drop him home. And I say, officer, is this a roadblock or can I go my way? And he just watched me and he laughed. He said, brother, keep the videos coming. Trinidadians need to take responsibility for themselves as people first. I am not black, I am not white, I am not brown, I am not green, I am not the half Syrian, half Portuguese, I am not black hair, I am not brown eyes, I am Phillip Edward Alexander, I am a human being, I am a citizen of this country, I have a family, I have loved ones, I need to take responsibility for myself, I need to take responsibility for my family, I need to take responsibility for my community, I need to take responsibility for my democracy. And Trinidadians have to start to see themselves as that. Don't see the Indian person across the street and think automatic UNC. Don't see the black man across the road and think automatic PNM. Because that's what they're doing and they're programming you. So the time the two of you all meet together is a movable object meeting blunt force. And that just results in all your thief, all your thief, all your thief more, all your thief more. And that only helps the actual people who thief in. I watched a conversation between PNM and UNC supporters arguing about Ish and Call the Heart. Now the question that both should be asking is how neither Ish nor Call the Heart has ever been brought to justice. And where our money gone? Where the money gone? Where? All the things that Kamala Prasad, the assessor, is telling you now that she wants to do in the future is beautiful to hear. Beautiful to hear. Tell her this. This is me playing the smallest violin in the world. Because you were in office, ma'am. You had 5 years and 6 months. If you were going to do anything to stop drug trafficking, you would have done it. You would have done it. Norfolk, Virginia and Canada, those 2 cocaine interceptions happened while you were Prime Minister. You never even inquired into what took place. Why all of a sudden I must trust and believe that you are capable of keeping your word? Why? Why? If we commissioned an inquiry into the land distribution plan under the UNC, under the People's Partnership, you will not find a single farmer getting land. But you will get serial contributors and financiers who have built shopping plazas, shopping malls, cineplexes, gas stations on former food-bearing land. And I want to say this again. I want them to hear me coming. Partner, for all your bald head, big shot, short ass, I want you to hear me coming. 200 acres here, 200 acres there. Every government that in office give you more Trinidad land. I want you to know that if I am elected to office, I will drive the bulldozer that breaks down everything that you have built on state land, including the ones that you got and then sold that have been sold since. Because Trinidadians need to understand that farmland should have been given to farmers 20 years ago. UNC people can't talk about the PNM failing to grow food when the UNC didn't grow one ass. Not one ass. So miss me with that. And also, as we on this, to the people who tell me that children will be watching my videos, it is 10:41. Why are children watching my videos? Children should be watching Paw Patrol and Peppa Pig or Discovery Channel to learn something. My videos is aimed at voters, are aimed at voters. So unless you're going to be voting in the next election, you have no business watching my videos, because you're going to learn some industrial language and you're going to go back and ask Mommy, Mommy, what is bullshit? But back on point, and a very important point. A very, very important point. At some point, an election is going to be called in this country. After all of this, after Keith Rowley stunt for you, because if you read Robin Montano's column this week, Robin Montano asked some questions, and in fact, I'd like to read Robin Montano's column. I do this from time to time. Robin wrote a column called "What is really going on in TNT?" And I'm finding a lot of people sounding more and more like the PEP of 3-4 years ago, and I'm happy. I don't know about you, but I'm getting more and a little fed up with not knowing exactly what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago, our country. I feel that we are not being told the truth about anything ranging from how many tests exactly are being conducted, and if it is really only a little more than 1,400 since the very beginning of this crisis, then why has there been so few? So was there really a tanker here in Pointe-a-Pierre collecting gasoline bound for Venezuela? On this latter point, you do realize that the story is true and it was first reported by a very, very respected Venezuelan journalist. Then why has our mainstream media soft-pedaled the story and not checked it out thoroughly? This story, if true, could have disastrous consequences for us, as it would represent a clear attempt by the Rowley government to assist Venezuela in defeating the sanctions imposed on the Maduro regime by the Americans. Now, let me tell you something again. Accessory before or after the fact. America don't play the fool with that, eh? America don't play the fool with that. Accessory before or after the fact. Teresa, if there's a troll, you could just shoot me a private message so they can be blocked and stop bothering you. You don't have to answer them, you don't have to take them on. I'm trying to set something up here. But understand that what was done, and the Yankees ain't going to be too happy with that one little bit. And if you are so stupid as to ask what the Americans can do, alright, let me see if I can get this now. Let me see if I can get this now. You will get some info about something now. Yeah? While I'm waiting on the call, on behalf of the PEP, I would like to extend best wishes on Ramadan Kareem to the Muslim community of Trinidad and Tobago around the world. Ramadan is an especially sacred month in which Muslims believe that the Holy Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. We know this month is usually a time of bonding in the Muslim community when families and friends get together to break their daytime fast and then congregate in the masjid or tarawih prayers at night, looking forward to listening to the recitation of the entire Quran over the course of the month. As God has willed it, this year's experience, Ramadan will be drastically different from many of our Muslim brothers and sisters locally and around the world because of the inherent dangers posed to each other by social gatherings during the current COVID-19 pandemic. Stand by for me. But as Ramadan is also known to be a time of personal development for Muslims, many may see this as an opportunity to benefit from this time of seclusion, to achieve much more than might otherwise be considered possible, a silver lining during the crisis, as our Muslim brothers and sisters increase their personal study, reflection and contemplation upon the wisdom and guidance from the Holy Quran, seeking to strengthen one's devotion to God, to increase one's faith, and to increase a revitalization of mankind's moral responsibilities towards each other with acts of compassion, charity, and generosity. May the peace and blessings of God be upon our Muslim community and our beloved nation. Ramadan Kareem. That was done for me, and I need to admit that was I was assisted by a senior member of the party. She is a devout Muslim, and you could tell by the words in that greeting, but it is from the entire party to the entire world and to the entire country, to all our brothers and sisters in the Muslim community. I have somebody on the phone here now who is going to give you an idea as to what's going on with this rig that Jerome Stone was just talking about. Hello, good evening. You're live.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Alexander.
Right, so you asked for anonymity, and you can have as much anonymity as you need. Tell us what's going on with this rig.
Okay. Right now, the rig was supposed to reach in Chagaramas on the 29th of this month. Right? The rig has been drilling in Mexico for how long? Probably more than 40 days with Trinidadian guys on board. Right? Now, I have a relative, right, I won't say who, on board, right, called, said that they were just about 3 days away from Trinidad, almost up to the point where they could have seen Trinidad, the land, right? And they were turned back. They were sent to Aruba to get fuel and water, right? And food, right? But my question is why it is the government didn't leave them there. They're already quarantined on the rig, right? Nobody is sick on the rig, right? From what I understand. Why they weren't allowed to quarantine in Chaguaramas on the rig, where they could have get supplies right there, right? But yet still, they turned them back.
I dealt with I dealt with Kerry Grant, who is a pilot. Kerry was helping me organize the response when we were trying to raise funds to bring the Bajans home, which forced the government to bring the Bajans home. And Kerry was getting information about planes and boats. And one of the things he told me about was that boats or ships, if they leave and they go to foreign destinations, pick up people and bring them, that the people who are operating the boat would be quarantined at Shaka Cabana down in Chaguaramas. So it is the obvious place to park and quarantine anything. So why didn't they just add the rig to that? There is a system in place.
I'm confused.
There's a system in place down there already, the movement of food, the movement of supplies. The people on the rig, I was told, volunteered to be quarantined and tested. So why was that not done?
This is the question we had asked. Right?
So what is going on now?
Now they are on their way to Aruba. They have 4 days to reach Aruba. Right? So I don't know. All they said is the government turned them back and they go into Aruba. And there's a big question mark as to why.
So what's being said to them?
They have no choice. They can't jump and swim the shore. They have no choice. These people have no choice. Right? And nobody in the government seems to be saying anything about this.
Have you contacted anybody?
I only speak to this one person on the rig, right? Where he is giving me the information, and all he says is that they're not telling them anything. All they said that we have to go back to Aruba to get fuel and water because the border is closed in Trinidad. That was the last thing.
So what is being told to these people?
All they have been told is that they have to go back Aruba. The borders are closed in Trinidad, and they cannot come in.
Is it the Maersk developer is the name of the rig?
Yes, it is. The contractor is GSL International.
The news say that the contract was cancelled because the developer, because the client cancelled the contract, so the government blocked it from coming in. Is that a fact?
That is not a fact.
Jerome Gerard Stone is he's someone in the petroleum industry, and he's giving me this information. He's sharing it publicly on the thread. So, and I'm asking you if what he is saying is indeed fact, or what else could be behind this, because Jerome is not defending it.
Okay. The thing is, right, these guys are on the rig, right, for how much days, right? Who is paying them? GSL International is paying them. Who is responsible? GSL International. So whether or not they stop the contract or whatever, they're still responsible for them because they contracted the guys. Right?
So what I don't understand is, what is the government saying to the people? And how many Trinidadians are on that rig?
To my knowledge, there's more than 15 Trinidadians on that rig.
Now, after you contacted me, another person contacted me, the wife of somebody on the rig. So I have the two-party confirmation that there is veracity in what you're saying. Have you been in touch with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs?
No, I have not.
I think that you're going to have to begin that process now on behalf of your relative. And you're going to have to engage an attorney and file an action against the state to force them to do right by these people according to the Constitution. Yeah?
No problem.
I am saying to you that you have my support and my assistance in whatever way I could help, including keeping this on the front burner where the public is concerned. So any information that you want put out in the public space, you can send through me. And if the Trinis trapped on the rig would like to do a show and talk to Trinidad and Tobago themselves, because it's unfair. It's unfair. It is beyond unfair. They were in a work cycle, and the state have a responsibility to take all their people. You can't arbitrarily do this. We have a quarantine protocol. We know it's 14 days for incubation. Quarantine them for 14 days, test them, and bring them in the country. Keep me in the loop. Talk to your people. If they want to be interviewed, if they want to tell their story, we could set up a special show for them. I'll put you on to Satish Ramsaran, head of PEP Media, and he'll make a panel that 15 of them could talk at the same time, okay?
No problem.
Thanks for reaching out, brother. Stay strong.
Thank
you. That is wickedness. That is pure wickedness. Anthony Maraj, you're on my thread. I want to tell you something. I will deal with the trolls on my thread. You don't need to. I don't ever need your help. When you try to engage people who make statements like trolls and what they say, you do two things. You assist them in distracting the conversation, and you give oxygen to something that should be ignored. Alright? So do me that as a favor now. Trust me. They have no limit to what I expect to come as an attack now that the Progressive Empowerment Party is seen as a real alternative to the PNM and the UNC. And come election time, we are going to impact the outcome of the next general elections. And the contract mafia that owns and operates these two parties are very well aware of that. Be expecting all manner of accusations and attacks. Alright? Going forward, Trinidad and Tobago. Going forward from here, we need to take responsibility for this country. We need to stand up as one people under one flag. We need to be the authority in Trinidad and Tobago. Stop selling your soul to political parties for pittances. Stop. Stop. Aaron can't correct. Don't feed it. It will eventually go back under the bridge. Yeah? Anybody else who would like to call? We will take a couple calls if you would like to call in and have your say. Yeah? So Jerome Stone, the man don't mix matters. If he talking from fact, and he's sending me. Alright, so here it is. Phillip, Alexander, good night. Let me inform you what's going on. I am a frontline worker. I am working on the ramp until morning Eastern. Region RHA just transferred a suspected COVID patient to Mount Hope Hospital, accident and emergency. All right, so we have a call. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hello, good night, Mr. Phillip, sir.
Good night.
I love the program that you are running, and it's a very interesting program for people to be looking at, because you are raising some very serious points that the government is paying no mind and no heed to taking the interest of the people of this country forward. And it is a very good work you're doing, and I love the job you continue keeping it up and continue in every single thing, because you would be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you, my
very
friend.
shortly and very soon.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, and have a blessed night.
If you could send me a WhatsApp with your info, I'll pass you on to the team so they could contact you and get you on board, yeah? Thanks a lot.
Okay, don't worry, I will get back to you. I just like enjoying your program from day one.
Thank you, my friend.
Everything to the forefront and putting it on the front burner, because the government has made a mess of their people's social development and social wealth. They have no help for nobody. Long lines, sufferation. People's house and homes are out of food and basic necessity and sufferation. And the government, I'm sorry to call the name, but the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance has made a mess of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, a full 100%. You have a blessed night, boss, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. Wayne Ramnarayan is saying his only fear with PEP is we don't repeat what happened in the 2007 elections. Wayne, what you need to make sure is that enough people come out and vote, because half the country doesn't vote at all. And when you say things like that, it reaffirms that fear and makes them stay home. What you need to say is that all of us have to come out and vote ourselves a better country. Come on board, get involved. Be part of the political machinery that mobilizes the country. We cannot live in fear and operate in fear. We cannot continue that. That is unacceptable. I was reading something, and I want to finish that. I have so many things coming at me at one time, and I apologize. Region, okay. Eastern Region RHA just transferred a suspected COVID patient to Mount Hope Hospital, accident emergency. The patient is in an isolated room, sir. Real madness. They are compromising healthcare workers, sir. Question: why did the patient did not go Cora Hospital or Cuba? And I cannot answer that question, but tomorrow, Keith Rowley or Terrence Dale saying, or Stuart Young or any of the Muppets will lash out at the media, the trained, highly experienced and ethical media that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, and lash out at them and tell them, have some respect and the audacity to ask those questions. And Donna Cox will make sure that Astronaut News gets their question in, as does Rhoda Barrett, who is speaking from a position of up inside PNM colon. But that's what we've come to know and accept as government. And any of you who watched the Game of Thrones that didn't understand how it ended, there was a show during when somebody was telling Daenerys about the wheel and all the different people that go round and round in the wheel. And her answer was, I am here to break the wheel. I like that. And it's time to break the wheel. It is time to break change exchange. It is time to break the hold of the contract mafia and the beneficial few who think I damn fast and out of place to want to talk about how they're eating and what they're getting and how they're benefiting for in exchange for their finance in the government. But you shouldn't be able to go in the bank and take out a loan and mortgage your house and come and bet it on two political parties, and regardless of which way you get back that money 10 times. And it shouldn't be so easy for corruption to take place. And all these lawyers in the Law Association, what happened to the Code of Ethics? Does that still exist? And what am I asking? I'm asking of big people who will go out in bars and clink glasses. Phillip Alexander, who he think he is? He know what my mortgage costs, eh? Where get them tires from under Benz? And it's cool. And it's okay. But I'm still a believer that time longer than twine. I'm still a believer. I believe. I live long enough to see that there are truths, cliches last forever, proverbs, ways to tell a message. Make sure that the toe you're stepping on today not connected to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. My memory long, for good and bad. I don't forget. I do not forget. You must tell that now. By now, those of you who have been listening to me long enough, you must realize I know a lot and I don't forget, and I have no problem saying what I know. The truth of the matter is the government is supposed to serve the people of this country. We've never had that. So farmers have been made fools. The Muslim community have been made fools. The Baptist community have been made fools. The Christian community, all religions, because people don't get representation. So they go to the church and they organize themselves as a church and they come back to the government and say, okay, we have 40,000 votes, you can deal with me now. So the fishermen don't get the response that they respect. The former sugar workers have nowhere to turn. The UNC sell them. And the PNM don't want to buy them. So everything that was a former food industry in this country, but there are 40, I've been told that there are 40,000 farmers. And if there are 40,000 farmers, then that means we could put down 40,000 farms. And in 6 weeks, we could be yielding crops, food. End the food import hold. End it. But if you voted a proper government into office, you will not only have a Carib factory, you'll have a Miller factory and a Coors factory and a Heineken factory and a you gotta give me some names. There are beers from all over, Labatt's Blue. You could, any beer you want. Anybody who want to come and set up in Trinidad, because Trinidad obviously has a lucrative market, you could set up in Trinidad and benefit from duty free to the rest of the Caribbean and sell to South America and Central America. Trinidad is perfect. We have lovely, highly skilled workers. We have summer 24/7. So if Carib and Star could be profitable in Trinidad, why not 10 other refineries? Why 10 other not beer factories? They could be making money here too. Yeah? Molson, yeah. And if Republic and Royal and First Citizens and Scotia could make a $5 billion a year between them, then surely we could open the market that is so lucrative and bring in all the other banks who want to come and set up here. Because if your choice is only 4 banks, and all the 4 banks have the same fees and the same charges and the same service and the same attitude, but you're bringing 10 new banks and all of a sudden there's a mad scramble to survive, because that is what capitalism is. Capitalism is everybody getting a chance to serve you. Capitalism is all those big banks outside there that should also come and set up and try and say, listen, man, open an account with us. We will deposit the first $400. Was your credit good? We will deposit $400 in that bank account for you. Free money. In Trinidad, when you go to open a bank account in RBC, the person who is doing you a favor, we're not sure we're accepting your account as yet. Huh? We're not sure we're accepting your account as yet, but if we accept your account, how are you prepared to pay your fees? Monthly or quarterly? Hello, good evening, you're live.
Good evening. I like that. It is time to break the wheels. The wheel that has been going around and around in Trinidad.
That one touch you.
That has been sucking the treasury dry.
That one touch you. That one reach. It reach inside you and it pull you out your bed tonight. They're calling that bitch.
It is time to break the wheel. I love it. Hashtag, we're going to spread that the whole country. It's time to break that wheel. Could you tell us, Philip, what is that thing about the money from the European Union to the sugar workers? Didn't they give that money for something?
I think that was because there was a subsidy to underwrite the cost of shutting the industry down.
Right, and wasn't the farmers and things supposed to get at the workers?
Yeah, but for at least at the
you never see any cent. And that was under Manning and then Kamla.
Pandey passed through.
And then back to Rowley.
Yeah, all of them, they never see.
Nobody got a cent. Nothing. The money just disappeared. And recently, US just gave money towards coronavirus. Well, boy, we have seen a cent of that either.
That gone too. That gone too. Last night a PNM financier had a police escort him to his house in Fairways. Like, police escort is the new bling now. Your neighbors, you can say, yeah, look at you now, boy. Yes, people, yes, folks. Look at you.
It is time to break that wheel too. All the wheels that have the poor people suffering in Pico, all over Trinidad, even Penal. It is time to break that wheel. We fed up. We fed up it.
Yeah.
Okay, good night.
Take care, my friend. No, but Flow making money. And Flow and Digicel and B-Mobile. You think it difficult to get Verizon and Sprint and the rest of them inside of here, Cricket? You think it hard to get them inside of here? The richest man in the world is a Mexican in telecommunications. You think it hard to get them here? Rowley just play, he's stupid. And he's playing stupid for stupid people. Playing for stupid people. Listen. We here in this country have to understand, every industry that makes a profit in Trinidad and Tobago should have competition to the ground. Because competition does two things. It drives prices low and qualities high. When there was a Carib and Stag war, you could get a bear for $1, and neither one, well, I mean, Stag was bought out. When there was a Qualos fighting Kiss, for about 10 years, bread was $1.99. $1.99 for bread. And you could have choose your brand, but bread was bread. And there was Cricks, and there was Cebix, and there was war. And that's how people benefit, because every Christmas there was all of them bringing you 10 bags and collect a school bag for your child. And as soon as the competition done, they have nothing for you but salt and $7.99 for a loaf of bread the day the competition ended. So I promise you that because we are beholden to nobody, Kiss will meet Hug and back rub. We bring everybody. Everybody. Bring them in the country. Trinidad is lucrative. Again, we have very highly skilled workers in this country. We bad talk them. We give them shit jobs. And we pay them minimum wage with money that is like toilet paper, so they can't afford to live. So their work attitude sucks, because you, Mr. Big Shot 1% pharmacy owner, with all your freaking attitude, you would be a jackass too if you was working for $2,800 a month and your rent was $1,500 out of that $2,800, and you're behind on your landlord cussing you, and you can't make Pampers money. You're only talking large now because your belly full, your wallet full, and your kitchen full. And always piss me off for that, because I want to be friends with everybody, you know. But I'm not trucking bullshit. I'm not in the bullshit trucking business. So don't bring it by me. Don't tell me, boy Phil, they don't like to work, you know. That is arsness. There go you. But for the grace of God, everybody works. If you give them an opportunity to work, if you give them an opportunity to better themselves, people will work. And if they're not working, there will be somebody breathing down their neck behind them for the job. Because as long as the job pays somebody a salary where they could have a life and raise their family and live a life of hope and opportunity, and put aside a little something that in 10 years, when all the children is teenagers, mommy, we're taking them Disneyland. Every month, husband going to work with a returnable bottle. So he going down by the corner with a returnable bottle, and he buying his sweet drink, and he have a little cheese sandwich or a little salad and egg, and he taking a returnable bottle, and he coming back and he drinking that sweet drink every single day for 10 years, and he doing the job, and he doing the job well, and the boss man have no complaints with him. He going above and beyond because you want to make sure the end of the month, the salary, sure, if the boss feeling good, give him out something extra, and anything extra going in that Disneyland fund. And when they reach, boy, and they take pictures from a place where a man know, I do that for mine. I do that for mine. Rowley, give me that. Kamala, give me that. I do that for mine. And that's the kind of people that Trinidad and Tobago is. Good people, salt of the earth people, hardworking people. And we've done them wrong. We've done them wrong for so long. And we need to stop it. And the only way to stop it is to break that PNM UNC wheel. Break it, shatter it, remove from the conversation all the Shem Balliol things and Jack Dio Singh and Dave Tanko hiding behind, pulling Kamla string. So Kamla like he, don't like she. Kamla talk to he, don't talk to she. And negotiating with financiers. Come down, man, how much you bring in? I will make sure she meeting with you down by the parlor. She go bouncing to you and I'll let her drink 2 Guinness. And we go say it's an accident. Miss me with the bullshit. Time to break it. The same thing happens inside the PNM. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Right now, we have a chance. This coronavirus give us a chance to rebuild our whole country. A lot of these people, they're in trouble. If Trinidadians come out of this and still don't eat KFC, still don't eat KFC, KFC jobs will start to pay twice the money and the price of KFC will come down. They have something they do all you call what the market will bear. What the market will bear. That's how they price in the grocery. I want to sell all you a brand of soap and it coming from China. We get it for $3. But the market are custom paying $28. So we have a nice little price point and a profit margin. So that we push this one to the front because our share on the bone, our meat on the bone is plenty. This is how they talk, you know. You are not seen as somebody that they serve. The advertising that makes it sound that way is brilliant. That's what I do, spin, communications, talk. But I want you to understand, in Trinidad and Tobago, the citizens of this country are seen as laborers and consumers, and that is all. And how much they could get out of you as a laborer or a consumer. Come on. It can't continue. It can't continue. We can't let it continue. And you see when people post on the wall, 5 votes in my house, 3 votes in my house, there's a saying I remember, and it had held me close. But for my house. See that? That's all. Don't tell me about what your house doing. Don't tell me what the neighbor down the road do last election. I don't care about that. I know what I am going to say. Because I know that if the Progressive Empowerment Party get 270,000 votes in the election, they're going to have seats. And if they get seats, because people not so stupid to only vote UNC because they don't want to split the vote, or they only vote in PNM because they don't like Kamala. Trinis have to want better. Police officers outside there in the sun and the rain, dripping with sweat, all you see that uniform, watch the human being that when that uniform come off, because I have police officers as friends, I have doctors as friends, I have lawyers, I have janitors as friends, everybody's my friend. People will tell you, I talk one way, you know, some people don't like that. A UNC handler tell me, Phillip, you come across too common. I wondered if that meant I needed to get a schoolgirl, a convent girl accent. You come across too common. But the truth is, all of our people, when they take off that outfit that you see them as, that subway worker, when that person go home, even that amalgamated security guard, when that person go home, there is somebody wife or somebody husband or somebody mother or somebody father. There is somebody, you know. And that somebody just put on a day or more of work to pay the bills. Just like you. Just like you. And the only reason that our customer service is so much shit in this country is because people are paid shit and the money is shit. So it's like insult and injury at the end of the month. And people have pride, and people have goals, and people have life plans. But life also sends challenges your way. And you didn't expect that your daughter would need medical attention, or that your son would need braces. And you didn't expect, you didn't expect that your daughter would demonstrate a natural propensity for ballet. She walking around the whole house on she toes, whole day she twirling. You had to find money for tutu and ballet shoes. And your boy, well, he's a footballer. He's a footballer. He's a footballer. He breaking beach from school. You cut his ass 10 times. He's still somewhere kicking ball. You know, you had to find thugs for that boy, and you had to find a chance and a hope and a scraping. But you still have that same jackass summer money at the end of the month that you had to work magic with, and people disrespecting you on top of it. It's hard. It's real hard. When we're talking about a country right now, 650,000 employees. That's what we're talking about, you know. We ain't talking business owners yet. 650,000 employees have been separated from their income for over a month. Everybody from the taxi driver that gets you to the job, and everybody from there, the security guard at the gate or the door, the place open, the lights turn on, the manager, the supervisor, the lane boss, the aisleman, the truck driver, the mechanic, everybody, 650,000 people. 650,000 of them have lost a month of value. And the government that promised to step in, the government that made the decision to shut the country down, that had a responsibility to step into that gap, that failed, that took money from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund and put it in their own pocket, that government, that is a criminal act. And they should pay a criminal price for that. Because these people, 650,000 of them, and the 20,000 business owners, registered businesses, everything, sign maker, door painter, mechanic, hairdresser, spa. Look, somebody now send me a message. Let me see if I can read that one for you. Everybody have problems. Everybody have stories to tell. To find this one now. Let me see if I still have it up and running here for you. And I apologize. Sorry, talking to somebody else on the rig right now. Let me see if I get him. But I mean, all right, let me read this story. Again, some of you may not appreciate what it takes to be in business. They don't appreciate what it is to be in business and how you have to mortgage your soul, and you have to make promises to the world, and you have to put yourself in debt. Good evening, sir. I'd like to remain anonymous. Should you use this message as a reference? I'd like to highlight an injustice done to my sister by her landlord. She had been running a bar for over 3 years now, and since the lockdown hasn't been operating. Last month, the regular rent, together lights and water, was paid. Even though she couldn't conduct business, the landlord called last week demanding this month's rent in full. Mind you, she paid close to $20,000 last month, even though she hadn't conducted business. She isn't able to pay anymore, so she saw no other way but to vacate the premises. I'm upset about it, and I'm sorry for other persons who this may have happened to. I am hoping when this is all over, she can be able to pick herself back up. I mean, come on, this person is just venting, and that's all she have left. Who's she gonna talk to? The Alsing, Carl Member, Rowley's, Churchill? Who's she gonna go and talk to? Her member of parliament, Fitzgerald Hines? Who? Come on, man. Not everything is a political stunt. Not everything is a joke. I went to feed the homeless this week, and we didn't get to feed the homeless since this lockdown start. And they watch me, boy. Like what happened? We fall off the map. And I take a video. Well, not me, Satish took a video and he shared it. And we were in two minds about sharing the video because we know people playing real cockish these days. But I realized, you know what, share it. So that every time they argue with me, I say, you know why we share this video? So that you will remember that people live under those circumstances. Vex with me for it. Vex, cuss my name, spit on the ground, no problem. But pack some food and go down there and feed them without a video. Prove a point. Because there are people in this country who are absolutely homeless and broken. To everybody who has a story to tell, who has a problem, who's been let down by the government, if I tell you, message me now or call me today, I could empathize with you and I could stand with you and I could put you on blast, put your story on blast and embarrass the government. But at the end of the day, the only thing that I could do for you is join with you to give you back your country. And if I could get you to understand that the wrong that was done to you, I'm not forgetting the wrong that was done to the Blue Notes people. To the Blue Notes people, to auntie and tanty and uncle and all of them. If you still have Blue Notes and you're holding on to them, treasury memories, and you have your couple $100 Blue Notes, if we come into office, let's talk. Tell me your story. It is easy to investigate source of funds. It is easy. Faris is making it sound like a joke. I want to show Faris that I will investigate Nahus to see before he marry them, how they come to own all them properties. I will show Faris how easy it is to go back in time 30, 40 years. Source of funds. Let's talk that. We have treated 20,000 small business people in this country. I have a friend, he owns a car rental business, and he built that car rental business over about 40 years. Raised his family from it, he did well. And every day he drives past and he watches all his cars park up in that yard. And all of his employees at home. And when the country starts back, it's not like just push play and every car goes back to somebody and rent starts pouring in. He have all his bills and everything that is due, and vehicles lying down for months. I'm sure they're going to have mechanical problems. And it doesn't sound like a big problem to you, who may also be going through your own personal problems right now. But we have to be able to see everybody and see what they're going through, because his business can collapse and he can end up worse than you. You don't know. We don't know what people's stories are. What we do know is the government failed them. The government failed them. We need to undo that. So all the talk that I get and all the things that people say, and I hear it and I know and I take it. I was watching this comedian on TV. And you know, Felicia asked me today if I believe in God. And we had a whole long conversation about religion. And it's hard not to believe in God when you're in the Progressive Empowerment Party. The fact that I know Felicia is a reason why I believe in God. And maybe that should have been my answer. Because Felicia walked in that gate on the night of the launch of that party and could have stayed, could have left, could have been moved, could have said, this is nonsense, I'm young and I'm having fun. Felicia ended up building this party alongside all of us and stood up with us. And she asked me today, and this comedian, he's just talking shit, he's just a jokey comedian. But somebody said something to me once, if you are in tune, answers will appear on the back of a windscreen of a car in front of you, in a page of Cosmo magazine. The answers you're looking for will come at you from the stupidest places, you know. And this comedian was saying today, he said, I become a dick. I become a dick because I've learned to take so much abuse. I've learned to take so much attacks that I've become too strong, and I've become a dick. And this is what he's saying, and I'm listening to this man, and I'm totally empathizing with this man, because it's so easy to become so strong. It's so easy to become, you know somebody cough in your face, and the first time you get a cough in your face is a shock. But there comes a time when you could take a hit, and you could take another hit. What is Rocky said in that movie? It's not how hard you could hit, it's how hard you could take hit and keep moving. But the problem with that is how hard you could take hits is it changes you. It changes who you are. It changes who you are. You know, and that saying, he that would slay monsters should see it along the way he doesn't become a monster. Fighting this politics. The government of Trinidad and Tobago, the things that are wrong with Trinidad and Tobago are so easy to fix. You see, it's a control, it's a siphon, it's a contract mafia. They have it locked down, they're feeding the money. Doorbell courts outside the jail, so Amalgamated can get his contract every month, every year, $80 million. But they could have saved $800 million dead listeners 10 years ago. Forget that. What I'm saying to you is, the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the water problem, the water that costing you money, the pumps, the tanks, the electricity bill, the bottles of water, the calling truck for water, that can be solved so So I want to tell you something, all the rivers that we've built, if we close the ends of the rivers, if we just put sluice gates on the ends of the rivers, and instead of keeping them as dry rivers, we keep them as full rivers, just that, and pump that water to reservoir, just that, solves our, just that, without building a single other thing. Consider them retention ponds. They exist. We could deepen them, we could cover them. They exist, and they could hold millions of gallons of water. And because they're set up to run downhill, you could build them like how they build infinity pools. You ever watch an infinity pool? It just has an edge and water flows over it. But that water that flows over the edge, believe it or not, has power. That is how dams work. Hoover electric plant, that's how it works. It holds back all of the water and lets a little bit at a time that spins turbines. And that could spin turbines, small turbines that create just enough power to run pumps, to pump the actual water that is in the river all the way to the reservoir. And we can solve it like that, just like that. Because the rain that falls in Diego Martin, if we find a way to save the rain that falls in Diego Martin, they had a problem. Our schools could be 10-year schools. We could abolish the SEA. We could make all schools prestige schools. We could monitor every principal, every teacher, every class, every child. Give them a GPA. If my children not hitting a mark every month, they come into the principal, I want to ask you, why your children in this school failing? Because you will get fired. But you have to make sure that principals are paid well. We need to make sure that our senior superintendents and assistant commissioners of police and our school principals and vice principals are paid salaries like the Senate gets paid, and they get tax-free, so that our principals and our senior superintendents and deputy commissioner of police could be driving Mercedes-Benz and BMW, because you want that. You want the front line to be properly paid and properly incentivized, because you tell them, if you don't deliver, I'm going to fire you. That's the contract. Work or be fired. Work or be fired. Joseph said Wassa water quality actually isn't that bad. Listen, if Blue Waters could take Wassa water and put it into this, and we could buy it and drink it, it's easy. It's just about cleaning it up. Hold, treat, distribute. That's all it is. Reverse osmosis is the process by which water is evaporated and the steam collected and brought back into water, recondensed into water, leaving all of the impediments behind. That's all. Yeah? The government of Trinidad and Tobago, the governing of Trinidad and Tobago, the operation of the nation state, the 40,000 farmers, give them 40,000 acres, give them goals, give them targets based on consumption data, based on what we eat. And keep those prices down, because you're telling the farmer, we're buying all the produce from you. So let's agree on a price going in. You're getting the land, you're getting the seeds, you're getting the fertilizer, you're getting the water, you're getting protection. I told farmers, we will create a license system where if you have more than 5 pounds of produce, you have to have a document to show easily where you got it from. So that pretty lastly will be a thing of the past, because we lost your ass in jail if you interfere with the nation's food supplies. In the United States of America, the most critical thing they defend is the mail, believe it or not. It is almost, a mailman could leave his bag on the ground and go, and nobody touches it. Because it is a federal offense of onerous consequences to touch federal mail. Trinidad and Tobago has simple problems: failing education, failing healthcare, failing banks. Our banks fail us. Our banks fail us. They do not pay us interest. They charge us fees. They do not make credit available. They make it difficult. Joseph, another time, in another conversation, I'll explain to you how I know what I know about water. But that's what my father did for a living, and he set up a lot of the water factories in Trinidad. But we'll do that on another time in another conversation. But let's go back. Gunman in Chihole, yeah? Indeed. But let's go back to this, that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is the easy part. The hard part is the politics. The hard part is to get people to stop watching Phillip Alexander and say, I wonder if I like him, boy. He talking sense, but I ain't if I like him. I'm not asking you to date me. I'm not asking you to move in with me. I'm not asking you to go into business with me. I'm asking you to hire me to run your country. And I am mannish enough to give you an undated resignation. Straight out of the box. I plan to deliver these 21 things in the first 5 years. I plan to deliver that. Fix the banking sector, fix the health sector, fix the education sector, solve the water problems, make sure that we're food self-sufficient and that Trinis have the chance to maximize their own potential. That government will work and get out of their way. I plan to do that. I plan to fix the electoral system. I plan to make justice work. 3 years for civil matters, 5 years for criminal matters. And if the judges can't case manage, then the judges will need to go to another type of employment. And judges who can case manage, because 5 years for criminal matters is a lot. And then we could set up a system where if you arrest a man, you have 48 hours, charge him or let him go. And if you charge him, you have 6 months, prosecute him, begin the case, or let him go. And if you begin the case, you have 5 years if it's a criminal matter, or let him go. Because that is the only way that you could get all along the way the food chain to work. We could bring reckless disregard for human life laws in Trinidad and Tobago, depraved indifference, laws, where doctors and hospital workers and ambulance drivers and call center operators are all responsible for a patient that called to say, I'm in an emergency, treat me with respect, you pick me up, you direct me, you get to me. So if I call for an ambulance, it gets to my house in 15 minutes or less, or they're liable if I die. And if you pick me up and you don't get me to the hospital in 15 minutes or less, you're liable if I die. And if you get me to the emergency room and the emergency room does not answer for how they treated with me if I die, they're liable and the emergency room transfers me to a hospital. And at some point all along the way, people treat me with respect and dignity, knowing that I'm a patient and it is in the oath that they took. But also they know that it's a serious country and there will be a mortality conference for every citizen that died. Christopher Phillip, who died on the steps of the General Hospital, somebody should have answered for that from the Minister of Health, come right down. But that was a poor black man dead with his pants down around his knees. And there was nobody to care, nobody to claim. And that is an incredible, indictable shame. And we continue to pretend and believe that this somehow, if we make enough jokes about it and memes about it and take bull talk about it, that somehow that is okay. That we can continue to pretend that today I have nothing to do and I have no plans by which to do it, but I'll judge everybody else and I will use an impossible yardstick. If I tell you the things that could be solved in Trinidad and Tobago are not rocket science and it is not magic, success leaves clues. Trinidad and Tobago could be the shipping dynamo of the region. We could be everybody's point of call. When Keith Rowley said that he doesn't know how to diversify the economy, I would challenge him and all his little boy. I want to tell you something here. I want to tell the people outside there washing my name, I'm listening, I'm listening. There will come a time all unfair games going to play over, Don't get me wrong, Don't get me wrong. I'm a well of forgiveness, but I know those who deliberately mash in my corn, and I see it and I know. And you're saying things and you're doing things that make it impossible for us to get where we're supposed to go. And if we get where we're supposed to go, we're going to drag you along anyway. We're going to lift you, because a rising tide lifts all boats. All boats. And then we could feed ourselves and save all of our foreign exchange, and we could diversify our oil and gas and get into downstream that doesn't destroy the environment. And we could create programs that brings businesses of every kind to the world, to this country. I say all the time, and things that we've put out in the public space, people bringing it back and suggesting it to us, and I smile. Because prior to the Progressive Empowerment Party, nobody was saying it, and I have everybody's thesis, and I have everybody's manifestos, and everybody's Vision 2020 and Vision 2030, I have it all. And none of the things the Progressive Empowerment Party suggests are in there. But they're in a book called Reinventing Trinidad and Tobago that Phillip Edward Alexander was writing. It took 10 years to compile. That the Progressive Empowerment Party members have decided to take and make this into something that we can do something with. It is not just me. And every single night we have a plain talk show, we bring people to the front that say, we could fix this. We could fix it. Our jails could be made into universities so that people who get sent to jail have no choice. You don't get to languish whole day and smoke cigarette and eat KFC. That you're inside jail, so your whole day going to be rusted, and you're going to have class, and you're going to learn anger management, and you're going to learn. You're going to come out of here better. And if you get yourself literate, we take some time off your sentence. And if you get your first degree, we shave a little more time off your sentence. You get your master's, we shave a little block of time off your sentence. And if you get your doctorate, we have to open the gate unless you committed murder, in which case Because wet crimes, blood crimes, it's a different things. Crimes against humanity. It is the scale of justice that says malum in se, evil in itself. And we're not supposed to be killing one another. But for the scale malum prohibitum, the things that we agree that are wrong, but we agree that they're wrong in society, we could fix you so that when we send you back into your community, you coming back into your community, a man with a master's degree or a doctorate, you're not the same illiterate fool that had no choice but to commit crime to find yourself in jail. There's a way forward for each and every one of our people. All of our races could live well. I want Fairways and Goodwood Park to replicate itself all through Trinidad and Tobago. I want all of it to be Syrian. I want all of it to be black. I want all of it to be Indian. I want all of it to be Chinese. Any chance and any opportunity that one get, all get. We must level that play field and make sure that finance is available and support is available and hope and opportunity is available for all. And all of these things will be done like that. There are people to do these things. Leadership, the Prime Minister's job is mind management. Prime Minister's job is not to come and explain to you the Minister of Health, his job, or the Minister of National Security, his job, or the Minister of Finance, his job. Prime Minister's job is to tell you, I have fired the Minister of Health today because he's a damn ass. He made a mess of a situation. We've brought in Jim, and Jim has guaranteed us in the next 3 months, these are the benchmarks, this is the timeline, these are the budgets, this is where we're supposed to hit, and we are going to follow Jim every single day and make sure that we're hitting those measurables, because if we're not, we will fire Jim ass too. It's the Prime Minister's job. It's the Prime Minister's job, man management. Put the right man or the right woman in the post, give them their goals, their targets, agree on a timeline, set budgets, and get the hell out of their way. But I don't want you to tell me where you'll be in 5 years and I wait 5 years. I want you to tell me where you'll be in 5 years broken down in monthly increments. Tell me first quarter, first month, first week, first day, this is where we are. Second quarter, first week, first day, this is where we're supposed to be. And if we are not there, if I accelerate, I'll explain why. If I am behind, I'll explain why. And we could then decide. Trinidad and Tobago could fix like that, like that. We have a lot. We have 2 million Trinis outside. 2 million Trinis. My brother just wrote. Anyway, you're going to see him Monday. Because it's published. And I told you all it was coming. And it is the definitive frontline on COVID-19. And that's where he is. And that's just my brother. But there are so many people in this country and in this world that are so capable. Nobody could explain to me how stunt artists like Stuart Young, Colm Imbert, and Terence Daly is the best that we could do. That is a lie that I refuse to accept. It was corrupting the womb, and we should have broken that before it started. And if we only ended up with that because you was vexed with Kamala, Rudal, and Anil, then we're stupid for stupid's sake. Because you don't take a left slap in exchange for a right slap. Vex for vex. If you are the only person that losing, voting with anger leaves all of us in trouble. We could fix this country. That's who you're supposed to be hiring. When they tell you 50,000 jobs. When Kamala said, we will create 50,000 jobs. Tell me where. Tell me how. How you doing that? Because I could tell you we create 100,000 jobs. I give you that breakdown now in less than 2 minutes. But I know the UNC day. Next Monday night forum. And we will give you 100,000 jobs. And this is where. Same thing PNM doing. You want a better country? Don't like me. Hire me. All I want is to prove. I want that. I want that. But I tell you, that's the thing that Gary and I have in common. Gary have something to prove. He ain't done, you know. When you feel all this bullshit done, Gary ain't done. All you feel policing is, I hear so-and-so, thief so-and-so, go and lock them up. It don't work so. Policing must be able to prosecute, or you could get charged for wrongful prosecution. Anyway, that's real country talk we're talking. The conspiracy theorists, you all need to stay stronger. And you all need to keep believing. If I was Prime Minister by today, you would know definitively if 5G was a thing for you to be worried about. And if 5G has so many people worried, then we as a country will say, listen, to all the telecommunication operators, we don't want no 5G until 5G all over the world and it functioning and it not killing people. Because people turn to their Prime Minister to get the job done. Not to come inside my house and cut up my pomsity to make my chutney for me. I will do that. Your job is to make sure that it is possible that I could go out and acquire pomsity and that I could chop up my pomsity in my house for my chutney in safety. That is all. That's the Prime Minister work. And we've never hired somebody based on that. We've never said, give me affordable electricity, proper clean water, give me utilities, give me management, give me somebody to call. You know what Trinis want? Trinis want somebody to call. You see the member of parliament? The member of parliament, under our plan, abolishing the confusion of local government and central government, abolishing that madness, and creating a constituency board of supervisors with responsibility for public works, public utilities, security, education, and healthcare. See those 5 things? You have somebody to call. You have the supervisor of each of those 5 things to call and make a report and get a question answered. But in failing to get that addressed, you have the member of parliament, the chairman of that board of your constituency. And all of a sudden that works. You don't have to go trying to find in the grey pages in the directory who to call, where to go, how to line up. That's bullshit. There should be counterintuitive apps and websites and places that you could go and put your problem under frequently asked questions. If you go to WASA, now our plan decentralizes WASA. We break it up and we build 41 water making companies. So there'll be a WASA de go Martin West and a WASA de go Martin Central. Because you need it to work. You need it to work. Now, there are other ways to fix the country. I am not saying that this way is the only way, but I'm telling you that this way is a measurable way and this way is an understandable way. And you, if you get other measurable, understandable things that you could choose from, then work with that. Engage conversation. Let politicians do more for you than knock on your door to hand you a bag of breeze and a scrubbing brush. Let them knock on your door to ask you, how have you, but you know what? You shouldn't even be knocking on my door, to be honest. I'm just talking about it because somebody today was on the phone with me and a counselor knocked on the door. I don't want you knocking on my door. But when I call you, answer me. And on that website or on that app, I must be able to say, listen, I having this problem. And in 24 hours, somebody must show up by my house to fix that problem, because that's the job of government. It's the job of government. And when they leave in, they must have a document. Listen, I have 5 questions to ask you. Were you satisfied? Were you comfortable? Are you happy? Those questions are important because I go back with that to my boss and I say, boss, look, problem solved, person signed, they're happy. And we go forward from there, because after the door closed and they say, good evening, have a good evening, ma'am, you too, get home safe, take care of the family and the children. What happened was that person going home satisfied, he did a good job, he getting paid properly for his job, and this constituent is happy that the government in office is set up to serve. We can fix Trinidad and Tobago. The politics defeats us. The government comes across as arrogant, incompetent, and pathetic. Terence Dialsing is a joke. He is a joke. He should never be speaking to human beings. Terence Dialsing should be kicked hard in his well-endowed ass out of the Ministry of Health. There are doctors in this country that are ashamed that that man is their line man. Somebody just asked, what's his name? Robert Jr. Rennie. If we bring it back, Petrotrin. At this point, I cannot answer that question. an assessment will have to be made as to the viability of petrochem in the post-COVID and post-oil war world. So we have to know that. But we have things like the pitch lake, which needs to be monetized properly. There are things that could be made from the bitumen and the pitch that we have bubbling out the ground for free that could corner this world market. There are 7.7 billion people on this planet who need waterproofing, and that shouldn't come from China. It should come from Labrie. And we should make the most massive waterproofing facility in the world. And that's just off the top of my head, but I want to tell you something. We still have oil and we still have gas, and we could sell our oil, we could bunker our oil, we could save our oil. Our gas, our natural gas could be put to work running all of our electricity plants for free and all of our water generation plants for free, because it's gas and it's free. And we have about 42 more years of gas. So let's use it until then. 42 years is a long time from now. And by then, solar and wind and geothermal and thermodynamic and all of the rest of the free energy and the clean energy would be available, and they would be in a better position, so we could transition then. But we could make TNTech and Wassa and all of these companies almost free to operate, so that, and I could send gas to your house. I could send natural gas to your house to operate your house. We could use it in our industry and give it to all incubating companies. 3 years, free gas, free electricity, free internet, free rent, free. We own the land, free. No, we ain't doing nothing with it. Free land, free rent, as long as you hiring Trinidadians. As long as you hiring Trinidadians. Gemma said this is a right time to look at other sources of energy, and it is always the right time to look at other sources of energy, including capturing the methane in the dumps and repurposing how we treat with our solid waste and other wastes. We need to start doing recycling, repairing, reconditioning, all of the R's and the R's. We have to do these things. Do I know if there are any flights into and out of Aruba? No, I do not know. Pipe gas to all homes instead of delivering tanks exactly. And it's easy to run that with lock-offs and junctions, so that it is a safe thing. The whole of New York City run on gas now, I am aware. So we could do those things. None of this is new inventions. I just realized how long this video running. So let me start to wind up and wrap up. It's been a long time since we could have just chat, and all of the shows have become full-on productions, and I have been cast in a different role and of interviewing people. Yeah. Somebody, yes, now, huh? Sorry about that. But yeah, all of our problems have to do with the fact that our systems don't work and our people are not incentivized properly. But if we change those two things, just those two things, get our systems to work, and we can make our systems work easily, education, healthcare, law enforcement, those things are easy to fix. And when you create 41 constituency boards of supervisors, you create 41 constituencies that are pretty much answerable to themselves, like little governors. The MP is responsible for those 35,000 people, and at the end of his election too, 5 years has passed. If the people are satisfied, if all the tanties and the grannies and the uncles have the children playing in the yard while they bubble in the pot and listening to the story on the radio, and then they have nothing to consider, current ain't going, water ain't going, nobody ain't coming and interfere with this thing, they're voting you back. You don't have to campaign. They're voting you back. If they was driving home and they hit a pothole and they pick up the phone, they say, what the hell going on? And tomorrow, what the hell going on is you came and paved that hole. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I was vexed. We had hit the hole, and I thought we damaged the car, and I just felt angry. I didn't mean to talk so hard. Oh, they're really doing a good job, eh? Stay safe, son. Because all every citizen wants is respect. What about agricultural processing plants? Absolutely. If this is the first time you're on listening to me, If this is the first time you're on and listening to me, we are the people who talked about monetizing and creating cooperatives to create pepper mash and to create molasses and to bring all the things together after we've fed the nation, after we become food self-sufficient. Look at all the ways we could go forward, such as cornering the market for pepper spray, because Moruga scorpion pepper is the best, and Toko honey. How do we monetize Toko honey? And how do we put Trinitario cocoa to work for us in Trinidad? And Vince Ram was talking about molasses for the rum industry. Yeah, and it creates bagasse and feed for the animal husbandry industry. So there's a lot of synergies and a lot of win-wins, and we need to go back to that. We have tens of thousands of farms that are just lying idle that need to be put back on. Stop cussing, yeah. I think all of we should stop cussing when the country start working. Good night. I have a question for you. When election is called and your party goes up, and if the PEP gets a couple of seats, and depending on what area you are going for and you don't win, what is your next move? I have always said, I have made myself available to serve. Trainees are going to do one of two things. They're going to vote for me or they're not. And either way, I am okay. Because I have a lot of other plans of things I want to do for my life. This is service, and I'm able to watch my father and my mother in the face and say, listen, I tried. And you know I tried. Trinidad wants to go another way, so we tried. That's the best I could do. Believe it or not, that's the absolute best I could do. But we have things, and we can have a better country, and we change the conversation. Somebody just sent me their phone number, and I don't know why. But any which way, thank all of you for spending time with me. It was enjoyable. I had a difficult, hard day today, boy, and I was giddy and tired, and I went to sleep, and then I woke up and I said, you know what, I haven't done a live video for a long time, and I don't want it to be bacchanal, and I don't want it to be more old talk and old noise. But I have so many avenues for bacchanal and old talk and old noises. Why I'm not talking anymore? And I say, you know what? Everybody's screaming at all you now. Everybody, government, opposition, all these small talkers that are not. You know what? You know what is funny? If you have the answer for people's problems, create a political movement so they could vote you into office and implement the answers. All the talk, half of these people talking, is not for you, you know. Is auditioning for the PNM and the UNC. That's what they're doing, you know. They're auditioning for the PNM and the UNC and hope that when elections come, your videos just get 12,000 people, pull you along. Where one? You make your counselor, look at where one, the HDC house, look, take that, bam, 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 bam. Everybody looking to organize you, corral you, and sell you so that they can eat better next time around. The people that you're following, who you're giving your time to, your airtime and your mind time to, after you listen to them, ask them one question on the live. You see, always ask me questions and I can answer what I would do, how I would do it, what the timelines are. People just ask me where the money going to come from, and I can answer that too. Ask them. I like how you talk. How do we go forward? Ask them. Ask them. Say an election is called tomorrow. Who do we vote for? Can't vote for you. You have no party. So what do we do? Are you going to sell us to the PNM or the UNC? And ask them. All of them. When they put on the pretty makeup, when they leave it off, when they have on the ragamuffin, and they're talking to you ghetto and gangster, all right, I like that. But after all is said and done, what's the next step? Because if you give me all that talk, and I still only have PNM and UNC as options, then you waste my time. And that is it. The Progressive Empowerment Party is the most capable, able, and you could question us. When COVID-19 was announced that there was a lockdown, within 24 hours, the Progressive Empowerment Party transitioned digitally and launched a 2-hour show every morning hosted by the chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party every single day since. One day it was off, there was an election, she had an electrical problem. But on every show is multiples of members and candidates and caretakers and people coming to talk to you. And every night we did plain talk. And we brought some of the biggest and brightest people to talk to you while you're in your house to give you hope. And now on the weekends, Deputy Political Leader Anthony D. Fu doing the weekend wrap-up and bringing some information. We have fellas like Derek Lawrenson and Chalana Birchwood who put out videos too and bring information. We have members all over social media. They call us the 800-pound gorilla. They come here for news first. And this party set up for one purpose: to get into government, to fix Trinidad and Tobago, to give you a better tomorrow. All of them. All of them. Still, they're going to convene the parliament with black masks and social distancing quite Monday. They should have convened the parliament the day they locked down the country and did it digitally and made it available for everybody to view so that the country would see, these are my leaders and this is what they're doing in a time of crisis. What we got? Bullshit, bacchanal, backbiting, court matters, old talk, noise. Going forward from here. Piers Farrell said, I need a link for that, please. I missed the first part of your question. But there's somebody called Satish Ramsaran, and there's a lot of other members on the wall. Just tell any member, and they will link you with anything that you need. There's a PEP page, there's Stand Up TNT, there's my personal Phillip Edward Alexander profile that you're on right now. So just click on photos, click on videos, and all the videos there. You could go, there's a Phillip Edward Alexander fan page, and all the videos are there. You know, it's available, it can be done. I really enjoyed the chat tonight. It's been a while since we've done this, and we'll do it again. We'll do it again next week. I know I tell myself, boy, we do plain talk whole week, and the weekend you get a break, but I really don't get a chance to just talk to the people, and the people need guidance. And I say, even if you don't vote for me, even if you hear this and you don't vote for me, when they come for your vote, ask them, say, listen now, how come 58 years? How come you didn't fix water? 58 years. Explain to me in words that make sense, in ways that I can understand, how we have 6 months of flood and 6 months of drought. Explain it to me. Explain how there could be water up to my knees in my bedroom and no water in the taps. Explain that to me so that I understand it, because I'm not voting for you. Explain to me how the same Ministry of Education, the same curriculum, the same teachers from the same teachers college with the same funding, separated by 15 feet of tar. Fatima College is a prestige school and Mokorapo Secondary failed. Explain it so that I understand. Tell me if it's the children to blame, if it's the parents to blame, if it's the area to blame. Tell me, because I want to know. I'm not voting for you until I know. Explain to me how farmland that could be growing kale that sells in Trinidad and Tobago for $3 if we grow it here, $45 if Hadco bring it and sell it through Price Mart. Explain to me why my farmers not growing kale in Trinidad and Tobago. Explain to me in a way that I understand, because I'm not voting for you until I understand. Explain to me how $5 billion a year is spent on public health. And if my mommy or my daddy or my child gets sick tonight, I have to go and choke and jam and hope and pray and beg and watch my child lips turn blue and argue with a freaking security guard waiting for a medical professional, knowing $5 billion came out of my salary every month, NIS and taxes. How come? Explain that to me in a way that I could understand, because I'm not voting until I understand. Explain how this is a drug nation, how it is a narco nation, how businesses have been able to build empires that cannot explain their wealth. Explain where all the authority of the state was. Where were the courts, where was the DPPs, where were all the police officers, where was everybody to stop and say, excuse me sir, you opened 57 branches in 2 years. Explain how. Show us that magic. Because if it was real magic, I'll put you on Heyman for zero the next morning, because everybody should know. Everybody should know How did it corrupt my police service and my law enforcement and my justice system? Explain it to me. What did you do to reverse it? Explain that. Explain the 42,000 illegal guns in the country. And if they're here 5 years now and you've done nothing for that, explain it. Explain it. Because if I don't understand it, I'm not voting. Not for you. Not at all. Explain how I live in a country where I could vote for a member of parliament like Daryl Smith in Diego Martin Central, who's made himself an embarrassing buffoon and a jackass, and there is no means or mechanism for me as a voter to organize my constituency to remove him and replace him. And I have to suffer through him for 5 years when the bingo club I am a member of have a facility to recall and remove the chairman. Explain that to me so that I understand. Explain where the 57 women that Dylan admitted were trafficked. Explain where they're gone. Explain that. Explain where those women are, what measures were taken, because you know they've been trafficked. You said in the parliament that 57 of our women have been trafficked. They've been snatched, bound, gagged, shipped. To where? How do you have this information? Or do you just have the information to the waterline, and once they're out of Trinidad, they're gone? Have you done anything at all to try and bring them back home? These mothers and wives and sisters and daughters? Trinidadians, stop getting distracted with nonsense. Let us focus on the real issues. Let us ask questions of these people who want the job to run your country. Demand debates. I will go Rienzi and Balize House and debate anybody on what is, what was, and what could be. And I could stand and defend my track record. And I hope everybody else. Yeah? So, it was long, but it was enjoyable. I look forward to it again. I wish the best for all my people. I wish everybody could make it through the next couple of weeks. I don't know what's on the other side of what these people are planning, but I promise you this. Trinidad and Tobago has been through worse, and we will get better. We have to make proper election decisions. We have to put people in office that could actually serve us and are capable of delivering. So, take it in stride. Hold your corner. Take care of your family. And be prepared, come elections time, to vote yourself a government that will make sure the things that need fixing are fixed. There is nothing else and no other purpose for that process. And if you fail to do that, it's another 5 years of mismanagement and corruption. Until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to Friday evening's edition of Plain Talk, an exciting edition. I might add, I am joined by two powerful minds on the issues that we want to touch on tonight. Constitutional reform specifically, the issue of proportional representation. We want to deal with the issues of, do all our votes count? Does our system make sense to everybody? Joining me tonight, former Senate President and well-known attorney at law, Timothy Hammersmith. Good evening, Tim.
Thank you, Philip.
And we're joined again by Vince Uran. I'm sure you're all getting to know him very well now. He's a